it's Penny Black and Jill Foster here for your next PB&J card class. And today I'll be working in an art journal using our new creative die pinwheel to embed this into the background and create a textural look. So this is just a small art journal page on a Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft art journal. And this is what we will be creating today. So I'm going to start, and I've die cut Penny Black's new creative die pinwheel several times from white cardstock, and I'm going to adhere it to my journal page using gel medium. So I will put a layer of gel medium under where I'm going to adhere the die, and then a layer on top. And what I'm going to do is to stack these dies on top of each other in order to create some depth and dimension on the page. So the look I'm really going for is that this is a textural element and it's kind of embedded within the journal page. So I'm doing 3 layers. Then I'll move on to another portion of the journal page. And again, putting the gel medium below, on top. Then I can lay the next flower on there and continue. And I've chosen to work in the art journal today just for something different. It really is a place where I can just play and try different techniques, and then I definitely can see myself then using these techniques and creating cards in the future. And another reason for this technique I like working in the art journal is that I wasn't sure how many layers or how much water I was going to add, and I know that with this sturdy board that I can add lots and lots of layers and I'm not going to have any warping or deterioration of my surface. So I put down the last flower. I'm kind of making sure that I don't have too much gel medium in between each of the petals, just going in there with my brush. Now I heated those up with my heat gun just to speed up the drying process and then trimmed the excess. Now I'm going to take some whipped spackle. This is a lot like modeling paste, but it's a lighter consistency, a little bit airier. Kind of wanted to give you a look here at it. Kind of reminds me of marshmallow fluff. And I'm just going to apply this randomly onto the background, with some of it going onto the flowers and some of it not. And this keeps adding to that embedded look of the flowers once it's all dry and we add our paint on top. Now I'm applying this with one of the tools from the Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft Gelatos kit. You could also use a plastic knife to do this as well. I don't want to put it on too thick, and a little bit went over the holes here, so I'm just sticking the paintbrush through and then wiping off the end. So I let that dry. Now I'm going to go over the entire piece with gesso. And the reason I'm using the gesso is that this will make the entire surface non-porous. And I want to use my gelatos on top of this. So by creating a non-porous surface, I can color with the gelatos and add water, and they will sort of float on top of the surface. Instead of absorbing down into it and the color becoming lighter, this will keep the bright, vibrant color because it will sit on top of the gessoed surface. It'll also make it easier to blend. So once that's dry, I'm going to color with my gelatos. I'm starting with the red cherry gelato. And I'm just right now, I want to get the pigments down onto the page. I'm not worried about this looking like anything pretty at this time. So this is the blood orange gelato. And next I'm going to use the banana. And then I'll add in a little bit of mango. And now I'm going to spray this heavily with water. And you can see those colors start to blend. And then I'm just going to blend it a little bit more using my finger. This will also allow me to make sure that that gelato gets up in between those petals of those flowers, of those die cuts that we've put in. You can add more water, you can add more gelato as you go. You can tilt it to kind of let it drip down. And then I decided to add just a little bit more up on those flowers because I wanted to be sure that in between those petals as it moves up to the center that it was completely covered. And then I'm going to heat that in between steps. So now I'm just really playing with some different ideas. I first tried here putting some gelato right on top of that flower and blending it. And I like how this gives us just a little bit of a patina finish. And this is a snow cone gelato. And you can really see here where that whipped spackle and all the different textures just add to the way those flowers look embedded within that page. It's a really fun way to use your creative dies. And I'm adding a little bit of gelato directly onto the dry background and blending with my finger. That darkens it up a bit. Now, because the gelatos are water soluble, you can go in here, I'm using a baby wipe, and just lightening up on those flowers so I can remove the gelato. And then I'll do a little bit of that to the background as well. And like I said, here's where I'm just playing with some different ideas, keep adding to the background till I'm happy with it. So now I'm going to take some gesso, I put on my acrylic block. This is just water, it just is a little bit dirty. And I'm going to splatter that onto my background. What's fun with this is even as I add more gelatos on top, these gessoed areas will take the gelato a little bit differently. Now I wanted to add a contrasting color, so this is a paper crafter's crayon, and this is actually the first time I tried this technique, so you're going to see me do some experimenting here. But I'm just cutting this off of the crayon. It twists up in a tube because I wanted to melt some of this color on here. And what's nice about doing it this way is that it just melts the wax a little bit, but you keep the bold color. It doesn't blend into the background. So I did find it's a little bit easier to cut off the little pieces if your tool is warm, so it kind of melts it a little bit as you cut. So I laid them out on here where I thought I wanted them to go. But you'll see I got my heat gun a little bit too close, so they went everywhere. But that's what art journaling's about, right? Just having fun and trying different things. So we'll see, try here. I'm just messing around trying to get some of those to melt. You'll see a couple that stuck down that will melt. But what I do really like is it keeps that vibrant blue because it's melting on top and not blending into the background. So I'm just picking up some more of that blue around on my work surface and getting as many of those as I can to melt. Another way to do this would be to take a craft iron and melt them on the craft iron and blend them onto the background. And here I thought I'd try coloring a little bit on there, but I wasn't happy with that. So what I did here now is I melted a few more, and I'm taking that tool and I'm sort of blending them and swiping them onto the journal page once they start to melt. So I've got it on my tool and then I can swipe it across, and again you see it keeps that really great blue. So while they're still a little bit warm, I'm just smushing them on, kind of like a warm chocolate chip. So now I'm taking a blueberry gelato because I decided I really wanted those flowers to pop some more. Just coloring right on top of those flowers and blending with my finger. And this also ties into the background with that melted wax. And I'll go in now with metallic mint gelato on top of that. And then of course I decided to add some more splatters. So I'm just getting out that gesso again, putting on my acrylic block, adding water, and flicking that onto the page. And to finish off my journal page I just used the Cling set by Penny Black, Life's Messages, stamped them onto cardstock and cut them out and adhered them onto the page using dimensional adhesive. And I made a couple other pages using the exact same technique. So this next page I did the same thing, only I used the new Penny Black Creative Die Modest and layered that up and embedded it within the page following the exact same steps as I did on that other page. And for this one I used the Dots and Swirls Border Creative Die and embedded that onto my journal page. Thanks so much for watching. For details and more information, visit the Penny Black website, www.pennyblackink.com, and here's a list of all supplies used.